Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander, and this is match 3 of Teysa, Tetsuko, Eriette of the Charmed Apple, and Ayara. The decks have performed relatively decently over the last 2 games. Slow and small considering that they're some of my weaker decks, but they've still done the thing, which is always nice to see. Let's see what happens here in our third matchup and final one against these decks. As usual, we've been skipping the first 3 turns. We are starting on turn 4, starting with Teysa, but to give you a quick recap, they've had some decent turns. Teysa actually got out because we had a turn 1 Soul Ring. We were able to get her out on turn 2. Then we dropped a Serrated Scorpion. Well, first of all, Teysa says, if a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control, it triggers an additional time, and creature tokens have Vigilance and Lifelink that you control. Then we played Serrated Scorpion. It's 1/2. It says whenever it dies, it deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. And we played Blood Artist, which is a 0/1. It says when Blood Artist or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. We got Tetsuko, who is going rather slow. We had Evolving Wilds that we cracked in there. We've got a Bloodforged Battle Axe turn 1 that says creature gets +2/+0, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you make a token that's a copy of Bloodforged Battle Axe. And we've got Kefnet's Monument out that says blue creature spells cost 1 less to cast, and whenever you cast a creature spell, target creature an opponent control doesn't untap during their untap step. Arietta, we've got Hateful Eidolon out. It's a 1/2 lifelinker that whenever you enchant a creature dies, I draw a card for every aura that I control that was on it. And we've got Ghostly Prison, which says creatures can't attack me unless their controller pays 2 per creature to do so, 2 mana. Finally, Ayara came out herself with a Arcane Signet. When Ayara or another black creature enters the battlefield, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. And you can tap and sacrifice a creature to draw a card. So let's dive right in. Turn 4 starting now. We're going to untap over here, upkeep, draw for turn. I will play a Swamp. Thankfully, we have that command tower because we got nothing but swamps otherwise. I'm going to go ahead and tap, well, wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to cast the enchantment Black Market. Whenever a creature dies, put a charge counter on Black Market. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add 1 black mana for each charge counter on Black Market. I will then tap a black and 1 other to play... No, actually, a black and a white to cast Cruel Celebrant. We've seen that before. Whenever Cruel Celebrant or another creature or planeswalker I control dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. You can see where the deck is meant to go. I can go to combat. And technically, this is a 0/1, that's useless. I have a 1/2 and a 2/4 that can swing. It can only go here. So we'll swing Teysa at you, 2 Commander. Most likely not going to matter because Teysa is not meant to swing very often. But because it's open and it's the beginning, we want to keep things rolling. We will then pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. I will play an island for turn. I will I pay tap 1 to play Tetsuko. Umezawa Fugitive, a 1/3. Creatures I control with power or toughness 1 or less can't be blocked. Creature spells cost 1 less. And when you cast a creature spell, target creature and opponent control doesn't untap. Well, nobody's tapped. Oh, actually they are. That does not untap on our next untap step. I will go ahead and tap 2 instead of 3 for the creature Cloudkin Seer. No point in doing it again. When it enters, though, we do draw a card, which is awesome. And I have 1 mana, but that's not enough to do anything. So we will go ahead and pass turn. All right, Tetsuko is catching up a little bit. That's nice to see. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn here. We needed a land, so it's an Idyllic Gorge. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 3 or more planes. Fortunately, we don't, but that's why we need it. I will then go ahead and tap 1, 2, 3 for Bonder's Ornament because we need to get some ramp going and catch up. We got a lot of good cards in our hand for Arietta. So next turn we play Arietta, and we should be able to maybe play one card. But that's going to start. That's good. Although Arietta won game 1, but I was worried about her most of all out of these 4 decks, honestly. Teysa has been upgraded a little bit and focused a little bit more. I've upgraded unblockable equipment a little bit by giving it more card draw so that it can get to creatures and equipment faster. Ayara, I haven't really tweaked much just because I still can't figure out exactly where I want to take the deck, but it does well on its own anyway, which is freaky to me, so I kind of just leave her alone. I'm not going to attack with a 1/2. We are going, even though it does have lifelink, but I'm not going to attack. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw, play a swamp. 1, 2, 3, and play Silver Smoked Ghoul. At the beginning of my end step, if I gain 3 or more life this turn, return Silver Smoked Ghoul from the graveyard to the battlefield. and I can sacrifice it to draw a card. But it is a black creature, so I gain a life and everyone loses a life. Go ahead and pass. Okay, we should be starting turn 5, I think, unless I already forgot. Already missed a turn. Untap, this comes off, so next turn it does untap. Nothing died, creature-wise. Draw for turn. Okay, I'll play a plains, that's good at least. I will then tap, well, don't tap the plains that just came in, that's stupid. Tap 2 black to play Bonecaller Cleric. A 2/1, I can pay 4 mana and sacrifice it to return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield only as a sorcery. Now here is where the problem begins. We've got some really great creatures that have really great effects, and they would trigger twice off of Teysa, but we have nothing to sacrifice and no sack outlets. The first 2 games we actually had sack outlets, and we were able to generate a few tokens to kind of fuel them. Now we're in a bit of a bind because we have no cards in hand, no card draw, so that's going to be problematic. But there's nothing really can do. Attacking with everyone's a real little weenie creature, so we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw, play an island, tap it for the Soul Ring I just top decked. Now here's the funny thing, I could keep playing creatures and keep locking down Teysa if I wanted to, but again, she's not really going to be attacking much, so it's not super important. I will tap 1, 2, 3 and play Trepidation Blade. It's whenever equipped creature attacks, defending player reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a land card. The creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each card revealed this way. That player puts those cards into their graveyard, so that's actually a pretty big hit. We need 2 to equip it, so we will do so. Put it on our flyer. Unfortunately, I don't have enough to also equip Bloodforged Battle Axe this turn, next turn hopefully, and I did not play a creature. So where do we want to send it? Well, you know what? You've got the most life, so yeah, we're going to go to combat, swinging a 2/1 flyer at you. However, on attack declaration, you're going to mill cards until you hit a land. It's a land. Boom. So it only gets +1, but that means you take 1, 2, 3. Okay, so see that in instance, it wasn't that big a deal. That is all we can do, so we will pass turn from there. But it's a cool card, and hopefully, you hit somebody with a run of non-lands, 5, 6, 7 cards in a row, you can really do some damage. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I will play a Rogue's Passage, that's always good. Swamp, Plains, one other, to play Eriette of the Charmed Apple. 2/4. Each creature that's enchanted by an aura I control can't attack me or planeswalkers I control. At the beginning of my end step, each opponent loses X life and I gain X life, where X is the number of auras I control. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and enchant Eriette with Demonic Embrace. Enchanted creature gets +3/+1 and has flying and is a demon in addition to other types. You may cast Demonic Embrace from your graveyard by paying 3 life and discarding card in addition to its other costs. So now she is a 5/5 flying demon. However, she just came in this turn, so we can't attack. We are going to go to our end step, and everyone's going to get dinged for 1 damage, and we're going to gain a life. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play a swamp. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ambitions cost. You may draw 3 cards, or you draw 3 cards, and you lose 3 life. I have 2 perfectly spaced out. To play Blood Hustler. A 1/1. Whenever we saw this last game. When you commit a crime, you put a counter on it. A black creature came in, so we gain a life. Everyone loses a life. Yeah, not bad. We could attack, but again, no good opening attack. So that's where we're going to be stalling out a little bit, unfortunately. We're going to pass turn over to turn 6. First of all, untap, finally. 1, 2, and 3 to play a Worn Power Stone, which comes in tapped. And see, here we are. Now we're getting tons of mana, but nothing to do with it because we have no draw and we have nothing to sacrifice. You know what? Screw it. Let's do it anyway. We're going to tap 1, 2, 3, 4 to activate Bonecaller Cleric. Sacrifice it. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate it only as a sorcery. We're going to fail to find. I believe that's okay. But we sacrificed the creature. So a creature died. Whenever a creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life, and I gain a life when a target player. Okay, so first of all, each opponent loses a life, but that's going to happen twice because of Teysa. 1, 2, 1, 2. 2, and I gain 2. Then Blood Artist says target player loses 1 life and I gain 1 life. So I'm going to gain a total of 2 more. And I will go ahead and hit you for 2 so that you're down to the same as them. And a creature died, so Black Market gets a counter. So on my pre-combat main phase, I would get 1 black mana. Not that I need it because I have tons of mana. So that might be a decent card to get rid of out of the deck. I mean, it's very useful, and this is one game where this happens to be like this. However, clearly we need to reevaluate and put more card draw in, as I've said a million times. That's the most important thing in Magic, I believe, at least in Commander for sure. I can see how certain other formats like Standard, Modern, Legacy, they probably don't need as much card draw because you have a much smaller deck and you have multiples of the same thing. But Commander, card draw is paramount. We're going to go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Going to tap 1 to play Sleight of Hand. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them in your hand, the other on the bottom of your library. Okay, I'm going to put that in my hand, and I'm going to put this in the bottom of my library. All right, we have just enough. So I'm going to tap 1, 2, 3, 4. This is not a blue creature, so it doesn't get the Kefnut's Monument. But we're going to play Corpse Cur, a 2/2 artifact with Infect. When Corpse Cur enters the battlefield, you may return target creature card with Infect from your graveyard to your hand. We don't have one. But I will tap 2 and play... but it has a 2/2, so it is not unblockable, which makes me wonder why I left it in there. But I will equip the Bloodforged Battle Axe to the Cloudkin Seer. Now it is a 4/1 flyer that will start popping out tokens of Bloodforged Battle Axe on every hit. And you can see how valuable that is in this deck, especially if I get a bunch of creatures out and only 1 or 2 equipments. I can use Battleforge to equip everything. Or next turn, I equip it, swing. Now that I have 2 Bloodforged Battle Axes on the creature. They hit, they make another 2 copies, and it just keeps getting more and more Bloodforged Battle Axes. They still require 2 mana to equip each one. So it's not like you can just magically auto-equip them unless you had those kind of cards, but that's not easy in blue, blah, blah, blah. I did cast a creature spell. Nobody has any tapped creatures, so it's not going to do anything. And we can mill somebody. Let's see. I don't think I want to mill you, because that would probably just end up helping you. Because clearly you have no cards in hand. Milling you is just going to get you to something decent. Let's let your deck go where it's going. You already are building up. You are building up pretty decent as well. You both have the same life, so it doesn't really matter. So we're going to swing this flyer. We did already hit you. It only got 1 card. We'll be fair. We'll swing at you. So it's going to be 4 damage. And then you have to mill cards. Well, currently 4. You have to mill cards until you hit a land. Ooh, approach the second sun. No fair. 1, 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh. 5, 6. Oh, no. 7. Oh, gosh. 8, 9. Oh, wow. That's not. So that's another 9 damage. Wow. See, that's a great card if it hits right. Okay, so now Eriette is upset. That's all we can do. We will pass turn to a pissed off Eriette. Untap, upkeep, draw. I will tap 2. Oh, wait. Sorry, you couldn't. God dang it. Stupid ghostly prison. You couldn't do that because you did not have enough mana to attack me. So you had to attack them. Done it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, that was. We know what everything. I'm putting it back because that has to be put back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. My apologies. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 over here, and then you have to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So another 4. Not as bad. Yeah, see, again, remembering board states and stuff is important to Magic. Duh. Trickier because I'm playing all 4 decks, but it doesn't matter. Like, if I was sitting over there just playing that one deck, yes, this person would be like, are you going to pay the ghostly prison? And I would have been like, oh shit, I can't. Okay. So we wouldn't have done all of the milling, obviously, but still it would have, I would have had to find out and then gone switched over to you. Okay. So now Eriette is not as pissed at you, but now we draw, which is now the approach of the second sun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We do not have enough to cast it. Technically, nobody knows that's what we drew, but we do have some other stuff that we should start. We're going to tap 1, 2, 3. And Stab Wound onto Tetsuko. Enchanted creature gets -2/-2, and at the beginning of upkeep of enchanted creature's controller, that player loses 2 life. That means it is now a -1/1, so it's still alive. I could have put it on Corpse Cur and destroyed Corpse Cur. However, you wouldn't get the added bonus effect of Stab Wound, nor would you get the effect of Ariette's End Step. This is cool because they're not going to want to get rid of Tetsuko because that stops their stuff from being unblockable. And they don't really have a way to destroy their own creature necessarily anyway. Although, actually, it's not a big deal because of what's in their hand. Whatever, we'll get to that. But then I will tap 2 and play Cooped Up. Enchanted creature can't attack or block. You are just going to stop. Now, I know I just said Eriette wasn't mad at you, but it's the right move because you've got unblockable. And now your Corpse Cur couldn't get through anyway because it wasn't unblockable. And that stops all of that nonsense with the mill. And I do have a 5/5 flying demon. And I think we're going to want to send that at you. Now, we only have 1 blocker up. Or we're going to move to our end step. 1, 2, 3. Everyone's going to lose 3 life. And I'm going to gain 3 life. Pretty sweet. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. play a swamp. I have to reevaluate the number of swamps in this deck. I'm always getting them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Liliana, Death's Majesty. Comes in with 5 loyalty, and we're definitely going to +1 up to 6. Make a 2/2 zombie creature token. Put the top 2 cards of my library into my graveyard. Not the best, but okay, because there isn't a ton of graveyard recursion in this deck. However, more importantly, that does trigger the ability of Ayara, so they all lose a life, I gain a life. I could activate Silver Smote Ghoul's ability, but having a 3/1 is pretty decent right now for blockers, so we're going to go ahead and pass. Especially with the Planeswalker out, everyone's always, Planeswalker, kill it, for, anytime you play Magic the Gathering, so best to have blockers up to protect that Lily. Untap, upkeep, draw. Hey, you land. Okay, great, thanks. Did any other creatures die? No. I got all this mana and nothing to do with it. And I can't even sacrifice anything to do the triggers. So yeah, this is where Teysa kind of stalls out. So we're going to pass. Regrettably, I don't like that. Untap, upkeep, draw. Alright, I'm going to tap 1, 2, and a blue to cast Repulse. Return target creature to its owner's hand and draw a card. I'm going to return the Cloudkin Seer to my hand. That means this goes away. These equipment drop off. I draw a card, which is good. Then I will tap 1, 2, because it costs 1 less, to recast it. Doesn't have haste or anything, of course. And then I will pay 2 to equip Trepidation Blade to it. You thought you stopped me. You stopped nothing. But not really anything I could do. I have the Corpse Cur I could swing. It's not going to get through anywhere. Okay, hang on, sorry. Whenever an enchanted creature dies, draw a card for... Okay, so no enchanted creatures died. I bounced it. So that won't work. I guess, yeah, we're going to swing at you. You can get 2 Infect, or you can block with your thing, which will just simply die. Yeah, we'll block with it. We don't want to risk the Infect. That's all we can do, however, we're going to go ahead and pass. Oh, wait, sorry. Stab wound. Upkeep, I lose 2 life. So that's a thing. We could have tried to do the Repulse onto that, I suppose, but I wanted the flyer back. Oh, wait, and one more other thing. When it enters the battlefield, I draw a card. So that's cool. Untap over here, upkeep. Draw for turn. 1, 2, 3. Chromatic Lantern, so that mana fixes the lands and gives me an extra thing for theoretical approach of the second sun. Going to tap 2. Now, unfortunately, I can't do this on there. Right, see, so what am I really, what's the concern? Well, we're going to tap that down because, yeah, I don't want you swinging Infect at me. Especially when now that I have no creatures, if I do swing out, which I want to swing out, I would leave myself open. Of course, you're not the only opponent. So if I swung out anywhere, these guys could start swinging a bunch back. Not the best idea, because they've got 5 damage from us, you've got 2 damage, somebody else. And you're not the threat. You're doing stuff. So I think we should, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You could crack back on us with 8 damage minimum, and we would only do 5 damage to you. That would put you at 19, and we would go to like 28 or so, 27. I guess the smart move is to simply go to end step. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. There. So everyone lost 3 life. I gained 3 life off of the enchantments. That's the good way of doing it. So now, see, we can just hold pattern. They still take damage. I like that. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Play another swamp. My god. 1, 2, 3. Liliana's Standard Bearer. Gain a life. Everyone loses a life. And when it enters the battlefield, draw X cards where X is the number of... Well, nothing's died. But you know what? I will tap... And see, I did that wrong. We're going to sacrifice the Silver Smote Ghoul to draw a card. Darn it. Then, because we took out a 3/1 and replaced it with a 3/1. Yep, nothing that really helps me there. Oh, well, of course, I will do this. Make a second zombie entering. Gain another life. Lose, lose, lose. So that's good. Oh, and then top 2 cards of my library into my graveyard. That's not ideal, since I don't have a ton of graveyard recursion. But, well, of course, -3 is get a creature from the graveyard, so... That's built-in recursion, I guess. I should be paying attention to that. But why? Why read the cards? That's stupid. Just guess what they do and play the game. I'm going to go ahead and pass turn. We're stalling out a little bit because no one has any good attacks and everybody are small creatures. That's the problem. The only person that guaranteed to get through is getting locked down by Eriette. So we untap, upkeep, draw over here on turn 8. And thank God it's a card draw spell. 1, 2, 3, 4 to play Blood Price. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your hand, the rest on the bottom in any order, but you do lose 2 life. I'm going to draw these 2 and put these 2 on the bottom. Then going to tap 3 to play Bonder's Ornament, and then tap Bonder's Ornament and one other to play Zulaport Cutthroat. It's a 1/1. Whenever it or another creature I control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. It's great, but come on. You're killing me, Smalls. Not getting anything I can sacrifice. Or any way to sacrifice them. That's another problem, because I could dump the Serried Scorpion, trigger all these guys, and do a lot of damage, but regrettably, that's it. We're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, take 2 damage, draw a card for turn, play the land I just drew. Okay, so we do have our flyer. Tapping Soul Ring to play Captain's Claws. Equipped creature gets +1/+0, and whenever equipped creature attacks, put a 1/1 white core ally creature token on the battlefield tapped and attacking. I guess that's not super ideal, but we will equip that to the Cloud Conceer. I will go ahead and pay 2 to equip Bloodforged Battle Axe, because of course. Tap 1 to enchant the Cloud Conceer with Curiosity. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card, so that's really good. As I've said before with the card draw aspect, this is repeatable card draw, not just a cast of 1 spell and draw 1, 2, or 3 cards. This is now every time it attacks, you get to draw a card. Well, every time it deals damage. And it's about to. So we've got a 37 over there. That I don't like. You're taking an unblockable whatever. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Guaranteed. This time I have 2 mana. Screw you. I lucked out, that's all, but we'll pretend I planned that. So I pay for your Ghostly Prison and swing. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage guaranteed. 1, 2, 3, 5. Let's do these triggers. I get to draw a card. We're going to make a 1/1 tapped and attacking, but obviously you'll block it with Eriette, so it does die. We make a copy of Bloodforged Battle Axe, which is great. And then you mill cards until you hit a land. It gets +1/+0, or +X/+0 for as many cards as they were, and you're milling them, so that's even better. Probably be a land on top here, but we'll see. Oh, it's not. 1. Oh, that's right, we know that. Oh, shoot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're going to take an additional 7 damage. That's where the money comes in. Boom. But we're going to go ahead and pass. Now, everyone should be a little scared of that creature. It can do big money damage, but not guaranteed. Could, just do 1 extra. But there's a lot of value attached to that creature. And with the Bloodforged Battle Axe, it's going to get bigger. So it's not just an Eriette problem. So we untap, upkeep, draw for turn, tapping 2 to play Transcendent Envoy. It's a 1/2 flyer, so, well, it doesn't matter, it's unblockable, but 1/2 flyer. Aura spells cost 1 less to cast. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, tapping Bonder's Ornament to draw a card. Cool, it's a land. We will play the land for turn. Now we have at least enough mana to cast Approach of the Second Sun next turn if we want. Attacking, again, is not a good idea. Obviously, they're unblockable, but we have other people to contend with. So we will move to our end step 1, 2, 3. And that's the thing. Like, this side of the board is the threat. These two could join forces to try and just take them both out, because Eriette is still doing 3 damage and then gaining life, no matter how much they're getting hit for. But we'll pass. Untap over here, upkeep, draw. Sure, Terramorphic Expanse, getting a basic swamp tapped. Alright, I'm going to -3 Liliana. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature is a black zombie in addition to its other types. I'm going to get back Noxious Gear Hulk. Black creature comes in, I gain, everyone else loses. When Noxious Gear Hulk enters the battlefield, you may destroy another target creature. If a creature is destroyed this way, I gain life equal to its toughness. The biggest toughness is, unfortunately, Eriette. So we're going to destroy Eriette, because that was what I was considering anyway. No, that creature's gone, so we don't get any of those effects. But I gain 5 life. Cool. And we have a very 5/4 menacey big guy. Okay, can't block, very little tapped out. I'm actually really not concerned. I know all it takes is for you to get 1 or 2 other cards on the battlefield that are like 1 sack outlet and or 1 token generator, and you're in business. But, well, actually you need both. You need a token generator and a sack outlet. So you're really not a concern for right now. Going to tap 1, 2, 3, 4. Grim Bounty on your flyer. Destroy target creature or planeswalker, and I create a treasure token. Our treasure token. This is destroyed, and then all these things just fall off. And now you have nothing to equip them to. Although, technically, with that stab wound on, Tetsuko is now down to a -1/1. So you could actually equip all those things to Tetsuko and swing in. That's amusing that factored in that way. Oh, wait, sorry. I targeted you, so this gets a counter. Yeah, that's not a May ability, so we really can't miss it. But how much else did we do? We targeted our... So I think that was really the only thing we did just yet. I think we're going to go ahead and do this. It's a bit of a dog pile, Here, we'll sacrifice the treasure token and 1 land. To play Sudden Edict, which has split second. Target player, you sacrifices a creature. So I'm targeting someone else, that goes there. I don't think split second stops that. Oh, maybe it does. So when targeting opponents, because split second stops the stack until it's resolved. So no one else can like keep casting spells on top of it. Yeah, I don't know. We'll say it doesn't work that way. It can't work. But you sacrifice creature. You're wide open. We have a 5/4 blocker, so we're gonna swing the board at you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. Down to 16. There are 2 of its commander, but I don't think I care about that right now. Pass turn. Yeah, Eriette is kind of getting dogpiled on, but trying to get the game moving here. Untap, upkeep, draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, and tap Bonder's Ornament to draw a card. The land, I'll play the land for turn. Oops, this is turn 9. I'm going to tap Soul Ring and my last planes to break ties, destroy target artifact. We'll destroy Trepidation Blade because I don't like that. Well, alright, take a pause, but is there something better to destroy? Not really. The monument's not a big deal. I mean, Black Blade Reforged, or Bloodforged Battle Axe, rather, is a good one because it's self-populating, but we already have a token out, so it will just continue. Like, there's no way to stop it at this point unless you blow up all artifacts, which we don't have that. 2 creatures did die, so there are 3 counters on Black Market, so we would have 3 black mana floating right now. Irrelevant, I guess. We'll say we untap these ones and then we use that 3 into the Bonder's Ornament. But it doesn't matter. We do not have anything of use. Now they are open. I could swing. They are relatively open, so I suppose... Actually, they are really open too. What do they have? They have the 5/4 blocker. However, we kind of want things to die. So, yeah. I guess that's... But then they'll swing this way, and that doesn't really help. Because it would be 1, 2... 3. Like, this isn't even... Yeah, they would might as well just take all 3. So that's stupid. Swinging anywhere with Teysa's team right now is not good. Great for blocking, but not for attacking. So we're going to go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. But here's the thing. I kind of like that idea of just loading up Tetsuko with stuff now and swinging, because it's also commander damage. Oh, this enchantment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We certainly have 5 mana. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and equip all this stuff onto Tetsuko. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's literally... No, yeah, because of the minus, it's actually 4 damage. So we're going to swing at you, because you've done the most screwing up of our board state. Although you just swung pretty big, too, at us. But you've got that giant blocker. I mean, we're kind of screwed either way. 4 commander to you. Guess we'll mark it just in case. But on the attack, you would also take an extra damage because we would make a 1/1 core, tapped and attacking, and then we would get another copy of Bloodforged. Oh, we have to pay 2 to attack you. Forgot. Now, the tapped and attacking one bypasses that necessity, so we're okay there. We only have 2 mana left, so we'll go ahead and tap those 2 to equip the final, newest Bloodforged to you, just because. And now we pass turn. Now the Eriette player is probably really pissed off. Untap, upkeep, draw, recast Eriette the Charmed Apple. Move to my end step, but I still do have 2 of them out there, so that triggers again. 1, 2, 1, 2. We pass turn, we untap, keep draw. I'll play one of the bajillion lands I have in my hand. 1, 2, 3 to play Vona's Hunger. We definitely have the City's Blessing, because you have to have 10 or more permanents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have that basically just in lands and mana rocks. So, Vona's Hunger. Each opponent sacrifices a creature, but if you have the City's Blessing, we do. Instead, each opponent sacrifices half the creatures he controls, rounded up. So you have 1, half of that is half, but rounded up. So you have to sacrifice her, you just recast it. Sorry, not sorry. You've got 3 rounded up, so you have to sacrifice 2, so obviously you'll sacrifice these. You have to sacrifice 2, and that's where it's going to get interesting. Actually, you've got 5, so you have to sacrifice 3 creatures. So when Zulaport Cutthroat or another creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. That's going to trigger twice. The same goes for her, and this one is targeted. We might actually leave that up. I think we would do these 3. Or, no, I guess the smart thing would be to do these 2 and then leave 1 of these. So we saw Cruel Celebrant already, so we'll leave Zulaport up. Now the question is, do they all see each other dying instantaneously? I believe this is always the crap that confuses me. I think they do, because Blood Artist dies. I mean, they say when they die or another creature dies. So Cruel Celebrant knows it dies, and it's going to see these 2 die at the same time. So that means this is going to trigger 3 times, but it's going to trigger 6 times. Holy crap, this could be... But then that also says the same thing. So it's going to trigger 12 times, and that's going to trigger 3 times. We said 6, 12 damage, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 damage. Holy crap. That'll kill those 2. And then he says when another creature dies, we would obviously target you 3 times, which is 6. Another 6 on you. Wow, that might do it. I think it does it. So, see, now it kind of makes me sad because, like, well, I guess I shouldn't have played that card then, obviously. I just didn't think it was going to be that bad. Now, that's only if this works this way. All right, guys, I just looked it up, and the ruling for Cruel Celebrant does say that if Cruel Celebrant dies at the same time as your other creatures, its ability triggers for each of them. So it does see the other creatures dying, which means Zulaport Cutthroats does it. It means they all see the other creatures dying. So that would actually end the game on their cast of a spell. So I'm very tempted to just let it go through because that's kind of fun and crazy. But I mean, in a casual game, obviously, you're playing with friends. You try and do that because you're like, oh yeah, you get some triggers, whatever. Then someone's like, no, dude, do the math. You're gonna give them the game. And then they like, oh yeah, because they all see each other. No, they don't. Yes, they all see each other. Let me look it up. Blah blah blah. Someone convinces them, no, see the ruling. It says they all see each other dying. It's going to trigger like 12 times, and then this is going to trigger 6 times, and this is going to trigger. You're killing us for sure, and you're also killing yourself. Oh shit, then I guess I won't cast that. Yeah, don't. And it's like, which kind of sucks though, because I want to cast it because that's freaking awesome. And I can't put that card in this deck because it's opponent, so it wouldn't even help. But yeah, I guess I don't play it. Darn it, that would have been super fun. Super fun for Teysa, obviously. So, okay, so that's a completely useless card now. I can't ever play it against this particular deck, that is, obviously. And that also means that it's really a stalemate in terms of that, because if I swung out, they would absolutely block with everything, and the exact same thing would happen. So we can't swing at them. We have to figure out something else to do. However, these 2 are wide open. We have enough damage to kill one of the 2 players. Obviously, we go for unblockable equipment because it's going to start getting bigger and bigger and can still get through. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 damage to you. You're done. Kaboosh. This goes back to you. Nice try. Very valiant effort. Second main phase, I will push this up, make another zombie token. You lose, I gain. Then I'm going to go ahead and tap Ayara, First of Lockwing, to sacrifice this tapped zombie creature to draw a card. Nope, that's a land. Gosh darn it, I really have to reevaluate how many freaking lands is in this deck. It's insane. Clearly, I need to take out 1 or 2. Not a lot, just 1 or 2. Because you take out 3 and suddenly you'll never get any lands. That's how it works for some reason. But I'd like to say, hey, I am getting better because at least I I did that in that better order of like doing this and sacrificing the tapped one that already did did combat damage. But yes, there is nothing else I can do. That was good. We took out a player. We will pass. And Eriette probably isn't much of a threat at this point. We can probably get through on that. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn 10. I guess some creatures died. I guess that counts. 1 creature died, so that would go. So I now have 4 black mana floating. So I will use that 4 black mana floating and tap Bonder's Ornament to draw a card. That's a swamp. I will play swamp. Thanks, gosh darn it. So yeah, the best I can do is I can swing at you, hit you for 5. It's something. So okay, we'll do that. We'll go to combat, swing. You're going to take 5 damage. Here we'll even mark the stupid, and then 1, 2, 3. Then second main phase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In Garruk's Wake, destroy all creatures and planeswalkers I don't control. So you now cost 2 more to cast. Not that that's a big deal, but all of your stuff dies. You don't have any death triggers, I believe. So yeah. Now you might be like, well, why didn't you do that and go after them? Because I'd rather get you low enough that maybe I can buy some time to figure out what to do over here. But that's it. We're going to pass, untap, upkeep, draw, play a swamp. I mean, there's really no point in doing anything. You still can't kill me, because you still would only hit for 5 damage. And what is it? 4 or 5... I would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All of my lands just to recast Eriette, and that would leave me with 2 mana. Screw it. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Approach of the Second Sun. Approach of the Second Sun. If this spell was cast from your hand and you've cast another spell named Approach of the Second Sun this game, you win the game. Otherwise, put Approach of the Second Sun from its owner's in its library, 7th from the top, and hey, you gain 7 life. Six cards. It is now number 7. Boom. And we are wide open. But we're up higher life total again, so whatever. We pass turn, untap, nothing to untap, upkeep. Wow, it's a land. 1, 2, 3 black, and then 2 more to recast Ayara. Gain a life, take damages, literally nothing. We only have lands and Fiona's Hunger in our hand. We can't even cast it because we lose. Pass turn. All right, turn 11. Can we get this game going? And it's a land. So, but again, we got the 4 mana, and we did board wipe actually. So that was what, another 5 or 6? Or well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would say another 4. So actually, we get 8 mana. 4 of it will tap to draw a card. Well, that's something. So we're down to 4 floating mana. We'll use 3 of it to cast Bastion of Remembrance. When it enters the battlefield, we make a 1/1 token. So finally, we have something to sacrifice. And whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain a life. Would be great if we could find a way to do that. We have a ton of mana left. We even have 1 floating. Nothing we can do with it. Yeah, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not much else we can do because they're absolutely going to just let the damage go through and take it, which is fine later on, but pass turn. This game is still interesting. I'm still enjoying it. It's just a little frustrating that it's not moving a little quicker with some better interactions. So we untap, upkeep, draw. Wow, it's a land. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Recast Eriette. Nothing else we can do. We don't have enough to activate it. Oh, shoot. Wait a second. I forgot about that with my decks. I have Bonders, so that means they draw a card too, because everyone with a Bonders ornament draws a card. I forgot about that. And we missed a couple of those, technically. But we'll just leave it. We'll start it now. And we'll pacify your commander. Can't attack or block. We move to our end step. We gain a life. Our opponents lose a life. So it's something. Oh, shit, yeah. Ghostly Prison, once more. We definitely, 1, 2, 3, 4. We attacked with 4. So this is tapped, and we actually had all that floating mana too. So we can definitely pay for it on that we just did, and I believe we could pay for it on the turn prior, because there's not really anything extra on the battlefield. Oh, no, we did play Garruk's Wake, which ate up most of our mana. So we would have had to have swung this way, but we swung before Garruk's Wake. So we wouldn't have actually been able to play Garruk's Wake. So once again, it would have been like, I swing at you. I have Ghostly Prison. Shoot, okay. I play in Garruk's Wake instead, I swing at you. But no, because, see, there you go. What that means is, first of all, 1, 2, 3, get rid of 1, 2. There, so you get that life back, because we couldn't have done the swing 2 turns ago, and we wouldn't have been able to swing anywhere, because that was on it would have been, okay, I swing at you. I have Ghost of Prison. Ah, shoot. Well, I can pay, but then I can't play this. Okay, so, shoot. I don't attack anyone. Second main phase, in Garruk's Wake. Blow up your board state so that you don't swing back. That's what we would have had to have done. And this time, and then he played this thing, gate life, and then we swing. Okay. Oof. We caught it at least. And that might not be 100% accurate. We probably screwed that up a little bit, but because we are forgetting the Ghostly Prison, there might be one more swing in there from somebody, possibly even Teysa, that we missed. I apologize, but we caught it at least and kind of fixed it a little bit. So we're going to untap, upkeep, draw. 1, 2, 3, 4 to extinguish the light, targeting Teysa. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. If its mana was 3 or less, you gain 3 life, and unfortunately it's not. So she now costs 2 more to cast. We now don't have this thing to ping us. And now, 1, 2, 3, now if we cast Fiona's Hunger, it's still bad, but it's not enough to kill us. Because we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have City's Blessing with lands alone. So now, you have to sacrifice again. So now it's literally like 9 mana to recast her. You only have 4 creatures, so you have to sacrifice 2 of them. You would sacrifice these 2. So these 2 would see 2 creatures dying. So like, okay, so Celebrant would see 2 creatures dying. They would gain 2 life, and we would lose 2 life. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then Cutthroat, exact same thing. 1, 2. Oops, wait a second. Sorry, wrong way. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. Serrated Scorpion dies, deals 2 damage to each opponent, gains 2 life. 1, 2, 2, 1, 2. But then also, this dies, or another creature. So once more, 2 life gains, 2 life losses, because you're the one doing it. 1, 2, 3, so that's another 3 counters on black market, putting it up to 11. So now you've got 11 black mana at the beginning of your upkeep step, so you can definitely cast your commander again. Alright, now we got nothing but 3 lands in our freaking hand. We're going to pass. So untap, upkeep, draw. Please be something good. Well, it's a little too late, but I will use... screw it. I'm just going to use Soul Ring for Phyrexian Arena. Or Altar. Sacrifice a creature, add 1 mana of any color. Thanks. Then 4, 5, 6 of the floating 11 to recast her. I have my Bonner's Ornament that I will then use 4 of the remaining 5 to tap to draw a card, but you draw a card, and it's a land. God dang it. And that's... So I'll play the land, whoop-de-doo. Oh, I almost forgot about this one. Whenever a creature I control dies, each opponent loses a life, and you gain a life. So I gain 2 more, lose 2, lose 2. Oh, and I do have... I forgot. Well, that's just stupid. I forgot I had my little 1/1 from Bastion of Remembrance. Really, I should have sacrificed that and allowed Blood Artist to survive. I am going to roll that back because that's way more important right now. Now with her out, we still can't win outright, but we can get close. Alright, so now I'm going to sacrifice Blood Artist to Phyrexian Altar to make 1 white mana. When Blood Artist or another creature dies, target player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Or you gain 1 life, so it's going to happen twice. So gain 2, lose 2. That happens. Now, Bastion of Remembrance. When a creature I control dies, each opponent loses a life and you gain 1 life. This is opponent, so that's going to happen twice. 1, 2, 1, 2, I gain 2. And then the same thing's going to happen for each of these. So that's going to be another 2 off of Celebrant. 1, 2, 1, 2. You're dead. And then for Celebrant. And then Cutthroat. 1, 2, 2. Sees that. Now, if I sacrificed 1 more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, I could just keep doing it. So that's the game. Because like, I sacrifice the Celebrant to Phyrexian Arena. She sees herself, because it says when she dies or another one. So that's going to do 1 damage. That's going to be 2. I gain 2. Zulaport sees it. So that's 2. I gain 2. This sees it. That's 2. I gain 2. Then, screw it. I sacrifice Zulaport Cutthroat. 2. Gain 2. Boom. Oh my gosh. Okay, we got there. Theoretically, they might have more life, as I said before, because I might have missed a Ghostly Prison attack from somebody, most likely Teysa, onto them. So they could theoretically still have another 5, but it doesn't matter because what I just did would have compensated for the 5. So they are dead now, regardless of what happened. On turn 12, still pretty late, but that is how Teysa is supposed to function. Winner of match 3, Teysa Karlov. A very fun deck, a very complicated deck, when it gets going like that, at least. But I hope you had fun. I hope you saw some cool cards and some cool interactions that you might want to try in your decks. Let me know in the comments if you do. Let me know how you would try and improve these decks and make them better. And I will see you next time.